Hello everyone, this time in this video I'm going to discuss which is the best, most fun flying Cessna. The Cessnas have different purposes when they were built, some to go faster, some to carry more cargo, some to go to more rough places. You have twins, single engine, you have tailwheel airplanes and tricycle gear airplanes, up to turboprop, which is the Cessna Caravan. In reality, all Cessnas fly very good. I'm going to focus on which is the most fun to fly. Just as a pilot, which of the Cessnas will give you the most satisfaction when flying. I have more than 2500 hours on the Cessna 182. I know it pretty well, and I can say it's a great airplane. The controls are not that heavy, and this airplane can carry a lot of cargo. In the case of the Cessna 182P, which is the one I fly, year 1973, I can carry 1200 pounds, so that's a lot. Where the Cessna 182 wins, it is in versatility. It is not the best at anything, but it can do everything and do it pretty good. I have taken my Cessna 182 off airport and it has been performing really good. Of course, you have to be careful with the nose gear, and that's a big risk with a track gear going off airport. I have taken my Cessna 182 to Idaho backcountry, high density altitude, short fields, challenging conditions, and it also performed really good. The 182 is a reliable and stable platform, also good for IFR, and as a fun airplane to fly, it can be fun to fly. It's not as light and or Cessnas, but also not as heavy, so you can do a lot with it. In these pictures you can see the wing of the Cessna 182, the 172 and the 206, also the horizontal stab. All of these airplanes, including the Cessna 180, 170, have the same wingspan, but there are some differences, like the 206 has larger flaps and a larger horizontal stab. This is another Cessna I like a lot, is the 172 XP. It is lighter than the Cessna 182, it is more playful. The cabin width is narrower. It has 210 horsepower instead of the 230 that the 182 has. Also, it has constant speed propeller. It's like a smaller 182. But for fun, it's more playful and more fun to fly. It not carry as much, but it is a great airplane. The Cessna 172 is perhaps one of the most recognizable and most produced general aviation aircraft. The 172 legacy started in 1956. Actually, it was the tail-dragging model 170A that planted the 172 seed back in 1949. The 172, of course, is a true tricycle gear airplane. What was going to be the 170C ended up with a nose wheel on it. Performance wise, let's be realistic. 172 isn't speedster. Folks who buy them tend to be honest about the airplane's attributes and limitations. Most consider the 172 a 2 to 3 place airplane with room for baggage and with acceptable performance and range. Still is the most produced Cessna airplane and probably the most produced general aviation airplane in the world. Still you can do mountain flying, airport and backcountry flying. You have to be more careful about high density altitude and the weight of the airplane, so that will affect the performance. So they are pretty fun to fly, especially the XP and the SP models. The Cessna 310 is the only twin I have flown from Cessna. If I ever buy a twin, I'll probably buy the 310. I really like this airplane. I like the looks. The 310 was produced from 1954 until 1980. Seemed to look better with each passing model upgrade. To me, it's one of the best looking general aviation airplanes, and it is a lot of fun to fly. Here is another Cessna that I really like and is a lot of fun to fly. In the air feels more like a 182. It is a bit faster because it doesn't have the nose gear, and what makes it more fun than the 182 it is that this is a tail wheel, so you can take it to more places and not be worried about the nose gear or a proper strike. But on the other hand, when it's very windy and challenging with gusts and crosswinds, the 182 would be a lot easier and safer. To my personal liking, I would rate the Cessna 180 as number 2 of my favorite Cessnas I like to fly. The Cessna 180 started production in 1953 and ended in 1981. Compared to the Cessna 170 with its 145 horsepower engine, the Cessna 180's 225 horsepower felt like a monster in performance. This increased horsepower brought a proportional change in P factor, which the 170 vertical stabilizer and rudder were not able to handle safely or comfortably during takeoffs and climbs. Here is another Cessna I really like, the Cessna 210. The Cessna 210 is not light on the controls. The Centurion is at best feels like a truck. Pitch forces are relatively heavy, and although roll rate is adequate, the controls are not well harmonized. You also need to be precise on the trim. The Cessna 206, very capable, and it is a load hauler. When you are driving a load hauler, expect truck-like handling. So it is no surprise that 206 feels heavy in a taxi and solid in the air. Heavy on the flight controls in pitch and lighter in roll, the aircraft is an ideal instrument platform. Also very capable for backcountry flying and of airport operations, more than the 182 because the nose gear attachment is different and more solid since it is not attached to a firewall. Cessna 185, another load hauler, also feels heavy on the controls. It is very capable, you can carry lots of weight. Also very good for the backcountry or off-airport operations. It is a favorite as a float plane because of the power. When the 185 is equipped with floats, it could be the best Cessna floats performance-wise. As a float plane, it will be my favorite Cessna to fly on floats for sure. When on floats, you can carry 4 people no problem, and you can carry 6 people when you're using the conventional landing gear. The Cessna 185 can lift its own weight, holds loads in and out of short and improved runways. Cruise speed is around 130 knots and provide a stable platform in IMC. Really a fun airplane to fly on floats, a bit heavy on the controls for my kind of flying for off-airport. Light on the controls, motorcycle-like handling, delightfully well balanced is how it feels the Cessna 170, which is my favorite flying Cessna airplane. And in particularly the Cessna 170B. To me is as perfect as they can get. It has a great balance between a commuter, freight hauler, trainer, bush plane, an all-around fun airplane, while still being fairly affordable. And because it is affordable, you can add lots of modifications. A modified Cessna 170 with a 180 horsepower is called a Super 170. And here it is when a great airplane becomes an amazing airplane. It will allow you to explore the backcountry as you please and have the ability to put your aircraft down in places that were thought only accessible for supercubs or helicopters. Yet you are able to carry all the supplies you need to be away from civilization for days, and you are able to cruise at 120 miles per hour to get there. The comfort of the 170 was not compromised, and most have great insulation for cold weather and keeping the airplane noise to a minimum. Here is an example where I'm approaching to land on a gravel bar. There is no wind, and you can see the GPS speed, how slow you can approach to land. A 170B, especially a Super 170, will land shorter and take off shorter than a Cessna 180 or a 182. Visibility is excellent on the ground and in the air due to the low panel and slope engine cowl. It's amazing that on the ground you have better visibility on a Cessna 170 being a tail dragger than on a 182. The Cessna 170 is in a class by itself. You feel the airplane is light on the controls and you have to lead with rudder, so it's a pilot's airplane and a lot of fun to fly. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to support Backcountry 182, please join me on Patreon. This is my personal preference for Cessnas I have flown, so it's not like a guide or anything like that, it's just my personal preferences. See you next time. Thanks for watching. In my next video I'm going to talk about something that I learned while training with Bush Air. Is about optimum center of gravity, how to get it, and also that will give you the optimum approach speed. It is very easy to join Patreon. Go to my YouTube channel, the link is in the description of this video, and navigate below Backcountry 182 at the top right. You can click on Patreon and it will take you to the Patreon page where you can select your membership level. It will show you the peers and everything. By becoming a Patreon for Backcountry 182, you will not only be helping the YouTube channel, but you can also get direct advice or discount on some aviation products for your airplane, or advice or products for your airplane. We can chat, video call if needed.